Good afternoon. I've never gotten to preach from the cleft of a rock before. This is exciting. So, friends, I have a question. Have you read the Bible? The 5 books of Moses? It is not a pleasant world that is described. It is a world that is broken, a world that is complicated, a world where brothers and sisters can't behave peaceably with one another. And at its best, our sacred text is there to offer a prescription. Knowing that just like that ancient world, our world too is broken. There is hate, there is violence, brothers, sisters, cousins can't sit together and speak peaceably with one another. And in Jewish communities across the world, this week, we read the story of Jacob and Esau, 2 brothers who cannot get along. And this week, they come back together and we wait and we worry for what will happen as the tension builds and builds in the story. How will these brothers who live in this broken world come together? How might we move forward? The last few weeks, months, they have been incredibly difficult. Natural disasters, violence and anguish, death and pain, human hands. It's been a difficult few weeks. And I came across a story this week of a young man named Shea Katiri. Have you heard this name? He's an Iranian Muslim, a political refugee who's currently living in D.C. And when he woke up on Saturday, after the attack on the synagogue in Pittsburgh, he opened up his phone and he started a GoFundMe campaign. Because he's a millennial, and that's what millennials do. And it turns out millennials can offer good things for the world, because he started this GoFundMe, and out of nowhere, it raised $1 million. $1 million to offer support to that community. He didn't know anyone from Pittsburgh. He had never been to Pittsburgh. But in our broken world, he saw an opportunity to offer something different. Faced with hate, faced with violence, we can see where, as my great teacher, the Reverend Ann Jolly, mentioned just a few weeks ago, we can see where love wins. We're not going to let hate and violence be what defines humanity, be what defines a community. This young man offers an entree into something better, something bigger, something different. You may think that you came here for an afternoon about gratitude, an afternoon about Thanksgiving. I'm sorry to tell you, you were wrong. You are here for an afternoon that is about love, an afternoon that is about relationship. And don't let anyone tell you that looking at the world through a lens of love is Pollyannish, that it's naive, that our world is broken, and that to say, oh, we should love each other, we'll do that tomorrow. This is a sacred, solemn, theological, powerful foundation upon which we stand. One of my favorite stories from Jewish tradition tells about a pagan who came to a rabbi and said, "Rabbi, if you can teach me all of your sacred text while I stand on one foot," you can't see, but I'm standing on one foot. "While I stand on one foot, I will convert and worship your God." And that first rabbi was an architect, and he took his builder's cubit, he whacked him on the head and told him to go away. But this pagan was persistent. He found another rabbi, Hillel, and said, if you can teach me the tradition while I stand on one foot, again, on one foot, I will convert. And Hillel said, what is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. The foundational principle of faith, the foundational principle upon which we stand, even on just one foot, is love. To love your neighbor as yourself. And we're here in worship, in prayer, in community. And prayer is where we go to affirm our truth, to affirm what we know about the world, and to aspire about the world that we hope to create. Prayer, as my favorite nun, Janet Walton, mentioned to me once, prayer is practice for the real world. We're not here just to think thoughts and say nice words. We are here to get ready to go out into the world and build it. Build it with the principles that we speak about while we sit here together. And I think it's our job to be brave. To be brave enough to hear the words that we say and then go out and be them, do them in the world. So I want to tell you the 3 steps we need to take to build that world. Are we feeling brave? All right. I will demonstrate, and then you will follow, all right? I'm going to ask. You don't have to stand on one foot. You can stay seated. So if you'd like to stand on one foot, you're always welcome to. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and take your fists like this and just give your eyes a little rub. What do you see when you do that? There's light. There are little swirls of color. Growing up, I had always been taught that there is a spark of divinity in every person. We are all created in the image of God, and that God left a spark of God within us. A nice thought. There is light inside of you. The light that you see when you do this, it's not the light from the lamps reflecting in your eyes. It is light that is inside of you, the same light that allows for fish in the bottom of the ocean to have bioluminescence. It's the same light that is emitted from the sun and from the stars. Held within you is light shining out into the world. But the challenge is not to know that you have light, but the person on your right and the person on your left, they also have light within them. That is an incredibly difficult thing to really, truly understand. We move through the world as ourselves, and the rest of the people around us are just passers-by in our story. But to pause for a moment and to know that just like I have a story, just like I have love in my heart, just like I have light radiating from my being, so too do all these people around us. The first step is to know that you are created in the image of something sacred and holy, and so too are the people all around you. But that recognition, that's an idea. That's not enough. Jacob and Esau are estranged brothers. Come back together. And as the story builds tension, and we wait, and we worry, and we imagine the armies gathering behind them, they run to each other, and they fall on each other's necks, and they kiss. And Jacob says to his brother, Lir'ot panecha kir'ot pnei Elohim. To see your face is to see the face of God. All real living is meeting. Not just to know that there is God, that there is something sacred in the people near you, but to come together and to meet them and to know them. If prayer is practice for the real world, then we're here so that we might know each other, so that when we pass each other at the Jewel Osco, we can nod. And maybe the next time we could invite someone over for coffee. Where'd you come from? What do you do? What do you love? What do you care about? And maybe we invite them to our house of worship, and we go to their house of worship. We go to their home for a meal, learn about them and their families, know each other in a real, earnest way. We still feeling brave? Have you said hello? You probably are sitting next to someone you came here with or that you know from your house of worship, but have you said hello to the other folks near you? Take a moment, turn, front, backwards, sideways, diagonal. This simple act, just knowing a person's name, is no small thing. It is the beginning of a revolution. It is the beginning of an opportunity to build a community, a Southeast Lake County of love, of earnest relationship. Step 1. Know that you have light, and so do the people around you. Step 2, meet them, know them, care about them. And step 3, the reason that Shea Kateri made that GoFundMe page wasn't out of altruism. That'd be nice if that's how we move through the world. The reality of our world is that we make decisions based on self-interest, based on relationships. Shea Kateri's roommate is a Jew. When he came here, it was Jewish service organizations that helped him acclimate to American society. His professors are Jewish, his friends are Jewish. He has real relationships and saw real pain and real anguish on the faces of people he knew and who he loved, and his response was to stand up and act in solidarity. We act when it's in our self-interests. And we are only going to create a world of love when it is in our self-interest to do so. When the people that we see around us, we see them in pain or loneliness, sadness, anguish. When we know them and when we care about them, then we can stand up together, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, open hearts, open minds, ready to do the work of building a world worthy of our prayers, worthy of the work that we're doing here together. At the center of the Torah are the words, Ve'ahavta l'rayecha kamocha, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. To love is not an idea. It is a positive commandment. It is an obligation. It is a thing that we must act upon. We sit here today, not just say nice speeches and think nice thoughts and then go back to our normal lives. We sit here today to practice the world that we want to create. A world worthy of our gratitude, worthy of our blessing, worthy of peace from heaven. A world worthy of love and a world worthy of the light that is held within each and every one of us. Kain Yehi Ratzon, may these words be worthy of coming true. Happy Thanksgiving.